Thank you. Altaley Mining, our slogan is we're building Mexico's next mid-tier mining corporation with two projects. We have the Campo Morado project in operation. It's a producing mine, primarily zinc at this point in time, but we're looking at and studying very hard improving the metallurgical recoveries for precious metals and base metals, and we're having some good success. And the Tahuehueto project over on the left-hand side here is a mine we have just putting into production now. We're commissioning a 1,000 ton per day operation at 500 tons per day initially, and we're bringing our next ball mill online over the next quarter. Should be up to 1,000 tons per day near the end of this year. It's primarily a gold project. Okay, forward-looking statements. Let's move on. Everybody's seen 100 of those. So Altaley has two projects. Tahuehueto is our flagship project. It's located in northwestern Durango. This project is just entering production. Revenue breakdown should be about 65% gold, 12% silver, and the rest in base metals, or 14% silver. Excellent exploration potential. Tahuehueto has a vast exploration potential, multiple structures. It's an epithermal vein system with high-grade mineralization. Campo Morado is a zinc mine primarily at this point in time. It's the sixth largest zinc producer in Mexico. We have a pathway on it to increase production by bringing online a flotation circuit that was under construction by the previous owners. But we've also been studying ways to increase our precious metals and base metal recoveries through microfine grinding and pneumatic flotation, and had good success on that. The project has had past testing to increase gold recoveries by about 400% through Albion and Leachox process, a forced oxidation and leaching of the tailings. So at Campo Morado, we had a good year last year, 2021. We had increased our revenues by 121%. We made $34.2 million mine operating profit. We've been using quite a bit of that money to help construct our Tahuehueto project, and we had a 15% share earning throughout 2021. I won't dwell on the board of directors, just to say we have a very good board of directors covering all aspects of a mining company, public company expertise, underground mining expertise, mine build expertise, legal, and finance. So I'll show you a little bit about Tahuehueto. This is the project we're just putting into production. It is 10.9 year mine life with reserves, an 18 potential year mine life with M&I resources added to that. We'll produce about 26,000 ounces of gold on an annual basis, with gold equivalent will be around 43,000 ounces. And that's at 1,000 tons per day at a low mining cost of about $850 per gold equivalent ounce. So this is a low cost producer. This is a pre-feasibility study metrics, which we just released. So net cash flows of about $259 million, all-in sustaining cost $855 per gold equivalent ounce. We have a net present value at a 10% discount of about $132 million, and that's an internal rate of return of 65%. We pay everything back in about 2 years' time. It's a $45 million capital cost. This is the potential of this district. So this is a district scale project. It is about 12 kilometers long by 8 kilometers wide. We have internal block of concessions outlined in blue. And then we have surrounding us a competitor, only competitor in the district is Fresnillo. And then we surround them again with outside concessions. The area shown with all the lines represents structural veins that we have know they're on our surface. We've sampled them. The red one is where we have developed our resources and reserves. And that's an erosional window through younger volcanics. So I believe all of those structures will be repeated to the west underneath the overlying cover. And you can see the main structure goes from Cinco de Mayo up to the Creston area, and there's an area we couldn't drill, and then we picked the zone up again over the other side on Santiago. It goes all the way down into the Arroyo. That's about a 3.4 kilometer strike length on that major structure. And all of the other structures are known. We have drilled 6 holes on Texclama, and we see very similar mineralization as we do in our main resource reserve structure. So many, up the most northerly showing up to the north, it's about 7.5 kilometers away from the southern river. So there's a large strike length distance on this district and lots of exploration potential. Next slide is a long section through the area we drilled. So that's the primary structure. These are all ore bodies that have been identified. When they're outlined in blue, that's a reserve. Where they're not outlined, that's a resource. And we can upgrade a lot of those M&I resources with additional drilling. But you'll note between the Creston and Santiago zone, no drilling there because there's too much overlying cover. We have drifted in 150 meters past the last known drill hole. We're in mineralization all the way. And our plan is just to drill that off in 50-meter centers, extend the underground at it towards the Santiago zone. It's about 600 meters away. Connect up those two zones. I think that we can add a third of our to the resource reserve base just in that area alone. These ore bodies are open to depth and along strike. And that's, again, only one major structure, many other structures to go after. Quickly on Campo Morado, this is the producing mine, the zinc mine. That's the milling facilities. Note the tailings disposal facility in this picture. That's full. It has about 3.4 million tons of tailings. That contains about 280,000 ounces of gold equivalent resources with just gold and silver. The project is actually a bit challenged for metallurgy. So you can see here the grades, 16.6 million tons. We've mined 2 of that so far. 1.7 grams per ton gold, 123 silver. So this is a high-grade volcanogenic massive sulfide deposit. Problem is we only get about 15% recoveries on gold and about 30 to 40% recoveries on silver with traditional flotation methods. So we have brought in some pilot plants to test microfine grinding and pneumatic flotation, and we've shown excellent increases in recoveries, especially on the lead circuit. Our lead recoveries are about 20 to 30%. The pneumatic flotation has shown we can get up to 70 to 80% recovery on lead, and that brings a lot of silver along with it. So we still have testing to do to get that completed. We've also reground the tailings, and we've produced a precious metal-rich pyrite concentrate, which we hope to be able to force oxidize and leach or possibly even sell. And that should give us a way to increase our precious metal recoveries. Here shows our all-in sustaining cost through 2021 at 83 cents per zinc equivalent pound. And we made just under 27 million US dollars in 2021 off the project. This is our performance at the mine over the last little while. So we've increased our concentrate production, lowered our cost overall. We can hope to continue to do that. And then where we see opportunities for growth in Campo Morado, near-term expansion of that flotation circuit that we could bring online. However, we believe the pneumatic flotation is going to be the way to go. Precious metal, increasing precious metals by finishing off our metallurgical testing and installing these pneumatic flotation and doing forced oxidation and leaching. Allows us to remine the tailings. And we have lots of exploration potential for near-term resource growth and potentially expand this mine in the future as this all comes to fruition. So here's a little bit of the geology of the area. The ore bodies are shown in the lower image. Most of the mining has come from the G9 area. We've been mining the El Largo in brown. And the colorful image above is borehole geophysical representation, electromagnetics of deep-seated anomalies that need to be drilled. Underneath the southwest zone, near Star, the previous owner actually drilled about 6 holes into an ore body. We need to finish drilling that off, and we'll most likely develop new ore bodies on this stacked volcanogenic massive sulfide deposit over time. The next slide, all of those ore bodies I showed you are in that little blue ellipse. All of the other colorful ellipses represent geophysical and or geochemical anomalies that are drill ready, developed by the previous owner. So we feel any one of those could bring in new massive sulfide ore bodies. As soon as we're healthy enough to get exploration going again, we can add to the resources and reserves at Campo Morado. There's our capital structure. We're trading in the 30-cent range these days, highs and lows of 30 to 77 cents. We have 274 million shares issued on a fully diluted basis. We're about 130 or 330 million shares. We have net cash. We're a little low on operating capital right now, about $3 million. However, bringing Tahuehueto into production should change that very quickly. It says restricted cash. There's a story behind that, but I can explain that after the presentation. Loan debt of about $38 million, primarily to Trafigura and Nearstar, and Trafigura owns Nearstar these days. So we have an enterprise value of about $109 million. And this is a pure comparison, as any CEO is going to tell you. Their company's undervalued. I think we have a very good case for being an undervalued company. So enterprise value over EBITDA, our ratio is about 1.5. Polymetallic producers in Mexico are about 11. And just even pure gold producers or precious metal producers are about 4. So we have a lot of room for growth in the company. And there is some reasons that I can explain later on a private basis if you want on why I believe we are undervalued at this point in time. And that's the quick presentation.